Picture this, you're rushing home with bags of groceries or a screaming child, struggling to find your keys. And then, just like magic, your door unlocks with just a wave of your hand. All of that is promised by the new Eufy FamiLoc S3 Max, which brings next level security and convenience with palm vein recognition, a built-in 2K camera, an indoor screen, and smart AI. This combines a smart lock, a camera, and a doorbell all in one. But how does this really work here in the real world? Well, let's find out. Hey there neighbors, it's Ryan the Tech Guy, and welcome back to this smart house. Now, if you're like me, you've seen a ton of smart locks before. Some unlock with a keypad, some with your phone, even with fingerprints. But the next generation of security is actually here, a lock that scans the veins within your palm. Now, if you've ever had to enter a high security area or a bank vault, you might have seen this technology before, but it's gotten much better, much faster, and much cheaper. So today we're going to be taking a hands-on look at one of the first vein scanning smart locks to come into the market. I'm going to go through everything this lock has to offer, from installation to real-world use. And yes, we'll talk about how the onboard AI can detect people, pets, and even vehicles all at your front door. The star feature here is the palm unlocking. Instead of scanning a fingerprint, it uses an advanced sensor to recognize the unique patterns of veins inside your palm. You just need to hold your hand up and boom, instant access. No smudging, no typing, no hassle. Now, I had the original S330 lock here before, and it used a fingerprint scanner in combination with a keypad. And while it worked most of the time, during these colder months, we had a few issues. And also, if I was out in the yard doing work, my hands would get dirty, and it would have issues recognizing the fingerprints. That goes away with a palm scanner. Now, of course, you need to have your palm exposed, and it takes just 1/10 of a second for it to read your palm in the right position. The biggest thing the folks in your family are going to have to get used to is where to hold your hand over the sensor. And for those wondering, yes, you can add multiple users. So everyone in your household can have their palm registered. You can even register both hands. Now, a lot of smart locks include a basic camera, but this one actually has a 2K resolution one with a 1:1 aspect ratio. It even includes HDR for crystal clear visibility, even in low light or backlighting. And the 150-degree field of view ensures that you can see from head to toe with no more chopped off faces or missed packages. Unlike most cameras, this one is oriented to where you can see all the way to the bottom. So instead of it just being a wide angle of your yard, you can actually see down to the ground in front of your porch. It's also equipped with dual motion sensors. It uses a combination of passive infrared and radar sensors to detect when somebody approaches the door. This minimizes false notifications and saves battery. Also, when you walk up to the door, it activates the palm sensor for quick access. Now, another really cool feature is the inside screen. This is great, especially if you're in an apartment or someplace that doesn't have windows in front of your door. You can press the button under the screen and it will show you the camera view outside, plus battery status indicators for both the rechargeable and non-rechargeable batteries in the lock. With onboard AI, the lock can detect people who are outside your door. It can detect if somebody's hanging around loitering out front of your house, or if somebody leaves. And if you pair it with the Homebase 3, you get even more AI features. This includes pet detection, vehicle detection, and the ability to recognize individual faces. So imagine getting an alert not just when somebody arrives, but you can see who it is or if they're a stranger. Now, palm scanning is really cool, but what if you need another way to unlock the door? Well, you've got plenty. There's app access where you can use the Eufy Security app to unlock it from anywhere, or to make sure you've actually locked your front door when you left. And included on all smart locks is a backup keyway, which is hidden behind the doorbell button. It's a little bit different design on this model. Of course, in the box are 2 included keys. And then you can also integrate it with a variety of smart home devices. We have our standard Alexa and Google integration that we've seen on previous locks, but now we can actually integrate it with both Matter and HomeKit, which I know a lot of you in the community have been asking for a long time. While this is limited, you at least have the ability to check the status and lock the door automatically within an existing automation. And with the keypad, you can even set one-time or time-based codes for guests, workers, or deliveries. Plus, on the inside, there's a one-touch lock and unlock button for quick access. This is great for small kids or the elderly. Now, one of the biggest annoyances of most smart locks is dealing with batteries. But the FamiLoc S3 Max has a dual power system. This means it runs on both a 15,000 milliamp hour rechargeable battery and a set of backup 4 AAA batteries. Now, the rechargeable battery should last about 6 months. And when that runs low, you can pull it out, connect it to a USB-C charger, and while that battery is out, it'll run off of the backup batteries. Now this only enables some basic functions, but it's better than having your lock dead for 6 to 8 hours while it charges the battery. And in a pinch, if you need to, you can open the doorbell button to access the emergency USB power connection. Then you can plug it into a power bank to boost the lock to open it up. Now this is a new style of battery, so it's not compatible with the existing S330 or E330, unfortunately. Now one of the features we absolutely love on our smart locks is the ability for it to auto lock. So this way you don't have to think about if you accidentally left the front door unlocked when you leave. This is especially important if you have little ones. You can actually set a timer from 30 seconds to 3 minutes, and the lock will automatically lock itself after detecting the door is closed. And in order to do that, it does have the ability to detect if the door is open or closed without an additional magnetic sensor. Now some additional security features that have come back from previous generations are wrong attempt protection. This will lock out an intruder after multiple failed attempts. The ability to scramble your passcode. This lets you add extra digits in to prevent peeking. So you could have up to 16 digits, and as long as your code is within there somewhere, it'll unlock the lock. You can set detection zones where you'll only get alerts when motion happens in a particular area in front of the lock. Now in addition, the FamiLoc S3 Max now holds a BHMA Level 1 certification. This is the highest commercial lock grade. One nice little feature that I like about the lock is that they've actually added different tones when the lock is locked and unlocked. So it's super nice to know if somebody has locked the door or if one of your kids is trying to escape. So now that we've taken a look at all the features, let's talk about installation. Now, setting up the FamiLoc S3 Max is almost exactly the same as every other smart lock out on the market, and you won't really need any special tools beyond a basic screwdriver. Now the first thing you need to do, and this is even before you buy the lock, is make sure you check out the Eufy website to make sure that the lock is compatible with your door. Now this should go into most North American deadbolt slots, but you just want to make sure before you have to go through all the hassle. You also want to make sure you pull that battery out and charge it up via a USB-C charger before you get started with the installation process. And of course, you need to have a Wi-Fi connection nearby. Now, if you are connecting this to a Homebase 3, you need to remember that the Homebase 3 uses ultrasonic sound to sync the cameras and doorbells. So if your Homebase 3 is far from your door like mine is, you might have to connect the lock together, take it to the Homebase, and get it connected in the app there. Then you can relocate it to its final destination. Now the installation is pretty simple. You'll need to remove your existing deadbolt and latch. In my case, I was replacing an existing Eufy lock, so I didn't need to remove the latch. But if you don't have an existing Eufy lock, you'll need to replace the latch. Next up, you'll need to align and insert the outdoor unit into the hole. It should stay in place with some friction, but if you need to, use some painter's tape to hold it into place. Make sure the cables go under the latch and the lock mechanism slides through the latch. You'll see a little alignment peak in the middle. Now on the inside unit, you're going to need to remove the mount plate from the body. This should come up if it's flipped over. If not, you can pop off the rubber insulation and take it out with a screwdriver. Next, you want to carefully thread the connector and antenna cable through the bottom of the plate. Then you're going to insert those 2 long screws. Just make sure you don't pop out the outdoor unit. Once you have them seated in the outdoor unit, make sure to tighten everything up, but before it's completely tightened up, make sure the outdoor unit is nice and straight. Then you're going to connect the inside unit to the connector and antenna cables. Place it over the bracket, making sure to line up with the lock mechanism. And again, you might need some help here or some tape to hold it into place. So once you've got everything lined up and you've got the indoor unit placed against the plate, you'll need to install the 4 short black screws in order to secure the inside unit to the door. Next, we're going to insert the 4 included AAA batteries and secure it with a little lock toggle. Then insert the rechargeable battery. Now you'll need to carefully secure the back plate and screen. Make sure not to bend it too bad. Once the unit is powered on, you should see the camera show up on the screen. Now, even though this lock supports Matter and HomeKit, we should set it up in the Eufy app first. That way we can set up the palm recognition and key codes. So we want to open up the Eufy security app and tap Add Device. Find Locks, and select the top option. Scan the QR code on the lock. This is the same as the Matter code. You'll be asked if you want to connect it to a Homebase or your Wi-Fi. Next, you can follow the guided setup to connect it to the Wi-Fi and then go through the calibration process. Now the calibration is key to ensure the lock knows when it's open and closed. All in all, this entire process should take around 15 minutes. Now to add a second user, all you need to do is click on the Manage Access, Add Access, you'll name the user, give them a backup PIN, then you can go on to the Palm setup. And again, it's going to initially ask you to set up one Palm, but you can always go back in and add a second one. This is recommended in case you have to switch hands or you're holding something in your other hand. Now, I've been using this lock ever since it arrived a few weeks ago. It's been on my front door, which is one of my most used doors in the house. And so far, the palm recognition is pretty solid. It did take some time for me to train everyone in the house how to use it and where to put their hand. One tip is if you are helping a child or someone else train their palm, make sure your hands are nowhere near the lock when it's training, because it will mess up the recognition. I was holding one of my son's hands up to put it in the right position, and I guess it scanned part of my hand, and his hand ended up not working. So make sure you're not too close to there so it doesn't get confused. And it has been quite cold here for the last few months, and I haven't really seen any adverse effects with the palm recognition. It seems to be pretty fast and reliable in most conditions. So, is the Familoc S3 Max worth it? Coming in at $399, it's going to be one of the most expensive options out on the market today. However, it's not much more than the original price of the S330 lock, which debuted at $349. And you're getting a lot in one package. It's a doorbell, a camera, and a lock all in one. Plus, this is a top-tier smart lock that combines convenience with best-in-class security, and really is one of the best options that's out there today. The palm unlocking is super futuristic, but actually quite convenient. And the 2K camera ensures clear footage. And having it tied to the AI that's available with the Homebase 3, it makes it smarter than most locks or cameras that are out there. That's why still to this day, I have Eufy cameras on the front of my house. I love the facial recognition and all the smart features. So I think this is going to be great for families because it gives you multiple user access, auto lock, plus you can get custom notifications when a face is detected or if somebody uses their palm or key code. So it actually tells you the name of the person who is at the door, which is pretty nice. It's also perfect if you get a lot of package deliveries because you can set up detection zones and one-time access codes if you need to let somebody into your home. Plus it being top to bottom instead of wide angle on the lens, you can see when a package has been detected and keep an eye out for porch pirates. And if you're a big fan of smart homes, this lock has pretty much everything you're going to need. It has access to Matter and HomeKit, so you can extend it out to other items in your smart home. But right now, it's pretty limited on where you can share the video with. Hopefully soon, we'll be able to have HomeKit secure video or video over Matter support, which I don't know if that's planned yet or not. Now, who might not like this lock is if the installation location is just too deep in a recessed door. You'll notice on mine that the left fifth of the picture is just my door frame. So if you have a deeply recessed door or you happen to have an entryway that's covered, you might run into some issues where you're only getting a small bit of your visible space actually usable. This is of course going to be an issue on any video doorbell. It's just one of those annoyances because you can't change the mounting location of the camera. And there are cheaper options out on the market today if you don't need those extra features or cameras. You can get a great smart lock for around 150 bucks. And if you're around 200 bucks if you want something like Apple HomeKey support. And on that subject, this doesn't support Apple HomeKey. So if you're already in that ecosystem, it may not be as convenient for you. But I feel like it's even more convenient just to wave your hand over the lock than it is to get your phone out and wake it up. But all in all, the Familoc has pretty much everything you'd ever want in a smart lock or doorbell. So if you are looking for something high-end with all the latest features, this is the lock for you. And if you want to check it out for yourself, I've got a link down in the description below. So I know that was a quick run through of the features of the lock. If you do have any specific questions or want to know if something's going to work for you, please leave that down in the comments below or feel free to join my Discord server. I really do try to answer every question that's asked of me. If I do get any updates on any future firmware enhancements or I get a lot of recurring questions, I'll try to add shorts to answer people's questions in the comments below. So please feel free to ask your burning questions. If you found this review helpful, please drop a like and make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more smart home tech reviews. I'll be doing a lot more with Eufy and other brands this year. Now, if you'd like to see my comparison video from previous generations of locks from Eufy, check out this video over here. Or if you want to see all of my smart lock videos, I have an entire playlist right over here. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next video.